Hi, welcome. You are listening to Defying Society and Embracing Faith with Holly and Marisa.
In this podcast, we will be challenging societal norms while embracing our relationship with God. So what's up?
All right. Well, I just got off work.
You had a busy day today?
Yeah, I was all over the place today. I started at 8 o'clock this morning, get in the car, drive all the way through Northeast Ohio. I've been I even had to go downtown. I hate going downtown.
Yeah.
You know what they charge me for parking down there?
What is it now?
Because I couldn't find a parking meter anywhere within a reasonable distance of the place where I needed to be. And I'm always like a lost hamster whenever I'm downtown because I'm looking for addresses because they don't tell me what business I'm supposed to be going to,
right.
Or even if it's a building, what am I even looking at? It's a restaurant. What am I doing? It was an RTA business.
Oh,
yeah. It was at the headquarters.
Okay.
So I get down there and I'm of course, just circling the block, looking for parking. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I found a parking lot place and I pulled in and they charged me, guess,
$15.
$12.
That's a lot.
I'm like, are you kidding?
Is there something happening in Cleveland right now?
I don't know. It was 10 o'clock in the morning.
Where was it? What streets?
It was closer towards the Brown Stadium.
Okay. So weird.
Yeah.
$5, $10 maybe.
Yeah, but because the guy even asked me, he's like, "How long do you plan on staying?"
Is it a scam?
It's an hour. I'm like, yeah. I'll be there for an hour, and he's like $12. I'm like, are you for an hour?
Yeah, that's.
Which why even ask me if you're going to charge $12? Charge $12. Don't ask me about what time or how long it
matters. We got scammed the other day. We went out to eat in Ohio City, and there was a guy, and my friend was so sweet because even though she knew he was lying, she still gave him the money. You pull in and you pull a ticket, and then you park. And he was like, and it was probably free to park there. It's behind town hall.
Yeah, I know.
And he was saying that they were raising money for veterans, and if you donated to it, that he wouldn't have to pay to park.
She bought it.
Yeah, but she was like, afterwards, she's like, it's fine. So I'm like, yeah.
They probably need more money.
Yeah, that was clever.
Yeah.
He looked pretty legit. He had a little belt thing on, whatever.
And I love our veterans. So if he throws that,
if he likes the veterans,
I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, right?
He's like, look at these stupid white girls trying to park over here.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just came over and
what was that? What was happening on the road? You seemed disturbed when you came in the door.
Oh, the amount of people I see wearing masks. Now, mind you,
in the car.
Yeah. So I kind of took note of this, maybe over the weekend, because I had to do a lot of grocery shopping. I had to go to Costco. I had to go to Marks. I had to go places, whatever. And everyone, I would say it's about a hard, I would say between 25% of the people
in the cars.
No, in the stores.
Oh, in the stores. Yeah.
But what's crazy to me is the amount of people I see in their cars.
Cars,
that. I was just here down the street.
Do you remember?
There was a girl driving around with a mask on. I'm like, she's by herself. I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't know what's going on with it. We kind of know that it's not helpful. We definitely know that being by yourself with one on is only detrimental.
Well, you know what they say now is some people are wearing masks because they don't like the way they look anymore. They're self-conscious.
Yeah,
so they just...
Sure. Kids are probably the same way, self-conscious kids.
I remember I make fun of because my husband, he'll when he had to go in and out of stores all the time with his job, he would just put his mask on and forget about it and drive to the next stop and then
I wish I had that problem
either. The second I have a mask on, I rip that baby off
like a child. I was like a toddler. Mask on. I could not do it. It was very difficult. Pete, my husband is a firefighter, and they obviously were married, had to wear them, and they did away with it a few months ago. And he's like, I actually kind of wish they didn't because it protected him from the smells. Yeah, when you're on the ambulance and stuff.
Well, yeah, when you're going to people's houses. I was in a stinky house today too.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah. It doesn't really help though. It kind of blocks.
No, it really does not. It does not help really at all.
I feel bad. I don't want to for whatever reason the people are doing it. If you are I don't want to get anyone sick, I'm sick, and you think that is somehow saving people. not the best
mentality.
No, because maybe don't leave the house if you're that sick, but also you're probably not contagious.
Yeah.
But if it's the other way around, also, I don't know that I would be like wanting to breathe in all my own hot air just to protect myself from someone else.
It's really gross because when I was working in healthcare, I had to wear an N95.
That was rough.
Well, they have two different kinds of N95. So there's one where it has like that metal piece above your nose, and it's like hard rubber straps that like strap around your head. So like you had to wear that all day.
Right.
My nose would be like nearly
You were broken out over here.
Yeah, I was all.
But see, you were wearing it the right way. That was protecting you.
But the metal piece with the rubber, it was pressing on my nose, kind of like this, like pressing down, and I felt like that ruined like the way I breathed or something.
For sure.
And I was remember when I was so sick?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sick with COVID. It was just like that drainage.
Yeah,
it wasn't draining properly, and I was like coughing.
I don't think they're meant to be worn all day.
No, they're not. With a mask on top of that, by the way, because it was an N95 and then a surgical mask over the N95.
So do you think we're going back that way now?
I don't know, but I don't know.
Do you remember when we would walk, when we were on lockdown, we would walk and we would talk about the Bible? We would be like sharing scripture. We'd be like,
holy,
and then
righteous.
We would see someone like in our own neighborhood, like suburbia over here, driving with a mask on, and then we would be like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? And then we were like, what's wrong with us? Why are we yelling at you? But I mean, but it was like, what are you doing? You're by yourself in your car. Or the couple that would walk their poodles together outside with the mom.
Yes.
Like you sleep together. You're in the same bed. What are you doing?
No.
Like
you're outside.
That was bizarre behavior.
It was very bizarre. I still think it's bizarre because it just kind of you're just telling me that like you just. I mean, I hate to be that person, but you really can't think for yourself. You're just listening to what the TV is trying to tell you.
But there's
every other headline right now comes out. If I put the news on right now, it'll tell you that like, oh, COVID's making a comeback. Yeah. And another sickness.
Watch your words, by the way.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, I had to get on here and vent a little bit about mask wearing because it was just to me it's just so annoying.
Well, I heard something disturbing.
What?
Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, always.
I was training somebody, and this client of mine was telling me that her friend is seeing a marriage counselor because her husband has an AI girlfriend. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, so
an
now
AI girlfriend.
An AI girlfriend. So I want you to take a moment because actually I was like, okay, no, I don't want to say I've heard of it. I have heard of it. I've heard that there's very lifelike AI characters that people are bonding with in various ways.
You and I saw this going down.
Right?
You and I talked about this, like a year ago with this whole meta world and everything. People are going to abandon their lifestyle here and put all their energy and focus into the meta world.
Into this
crazy.
Yeah. So then I was like, but then as her and I were talking about it and she was like disturbed. And I'm like, oh gosh, like the reality of it is hitting me like, oh yeah, this is a thing. Oh yeah, we saw this coming.
So let me ask you this: do you know if like that couple are like older or the younger?
Or they're 40s.
40s.
Maybe.
Jeez. So like, how do you do that? Like, do you just go on like Facebook and like meet with somebody, or like, where do you find AI girls?
I don't know. And what's interesting is I do want to ask my husband about it because he works with a lot of guys, obviously. So if it is up and coming, or if it's something that people are doing, we don't really, we wouldn't. Maybe they would know because like some maybe younger guys, single guys.
It's not like I don't know. I cannot wrap my head around having a relationship with something that's like completely fake because I get catfishing. Like catfishing, like, being somebody on the internet and it's actually a person like pretending to be somebody else. Like, oh yeah, here's my picture. And when they all
but this is the thing. You know somebody close to your life who dated someone online only for a long time.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not that far-fetched for people to have relationships online before even being physically around.
But did he know that she was AI before?
I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no. I don't know.
So, like, I don't know. Like, I just find that so disturbing that
I would venture to say
a robot
you would probably know.
can know like how to like flirt with somebody.
Yeah.
So an
Of
AI,
course they can.
so AI knows how to flirt
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and possibly turn somebody on. Like, I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because then the characters, I'm assuming, are very realistic because we know that most videos and photographs we even see on Instagram probably aren't even real.
I feel
right?
like how many fingers?
No, but I mean, no, but it's very lifelike, apparently, you know?
Yeah.
So there's so many things to discuss here. One being, okay, as a woman, married women, is that cheating? Of course it is. That would hurt me because I would be like, wow, I'm like doing something really wrong if you need to talk to somebody, or whatever it is.
I don't know if I'd be more offended if he was talking to a robot or a person at this point. Like, I mean, like,
I know.
What?
At least if it was another person, like you'd be like, okay, well maybe she is more attractive.
Let me talk to her. Let me find her. Let me. Like, you can't do. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, break your computer? Like, what are you gonna do?
It's bizarre. So one of the thoughts is, I need to put this on your phone. Sorry. One of my thoughts is that, okay, the cheating part. Another is, we kind of got into this briefly, me and this client of mine, but being as though you can have AI friends or, business partners,
Mm-hmm.
You can have people writing your content, whatever it is. They're very smart, right? And they kind of flow with whatever it is they believe you want, right? Mm-hmm. Or whatever you tell them to produce. What happens when somebody, especially the younger generation, don't you even dare, dog. Don't you dare. That was so loud the other day. When they, let's say a troubled person is like needing a friend to talk to about all the bad thoughts they're having. Well, what if that AI starts pushing them in a different direction to embrace the evil that they're exploring?
That was just an article a few, like maybe like half a year ago or so. My girlfriend actually just sent to me, like not too long ago. I'll have to ask her about it. But an AI, like somebody was reaching out to an AI for some kind of help or support, and they were turning that person towards a different direction.
Yeah.
And that person ended up killing themselves.
See what I mean?
They ended up committing suicide. So
this could be like very similar.
This is bad.
Yeah. So this AI girlfriend could take you down a sickening pornographic route. It could take you down leaving your wife, leaving your family, whatever it is. I mean, it could go so many directions.
So is she going to stay with him? Do you know any of the details? No.
Yeah. I mean, I assume counseling is the first step. It's.
I just got the chills.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I said to the friend who told me, we don't know what their relationship's like, what this person's already into. Okay, so like, without knowing that, and it's none of my business, we don't know at what level this person's operating. Anyways, they could be a sex addict for all you know. They could be
her husband.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like it's hard to imagine when your husband is super busy, comes home, passes out, doesn't even have his own laptop. You know what I mean? Yeah. Some people are on their computers all day. They don't spend a lot of time together, or they have their own addictions. Like no one's safe from this type of thing. None of us. Okay, but we don't know how it happens. It's kind of like when someone starts a relationship with somebody at work, right? Yeah. Probably more common before when everybody was at work. Yeah. But you spend more time at work than you do at home in most cases, especially men.
Quote unquote, your work husband, your work wife.
We joke about stuff like that, but then, it doesn't matter how solid your relationship is sometimes. As soon as things get a little sticky at home, kids are exhausting, whatever it is, it's going to be way easier to be around the person who makes you laugh or makes you feel attractive, right? So these things happen pretty easily, and it can happen then. Yeah. Okay?
It's just so different. AI.
That is the weird part. And I think about our future and our children. Yeah. So here I am thinking, and this is literally a conversation I had with them. I have boys and girls. I have 2 boys and three daughters. 2 sons, 3 daughters. So you have a son. We sit here and we're trying to encourage them now. as they're going to start to get to puberty, your son's far from this, but as you start to get to puberty and respecting girls and what they're going to be confronted with and what the expectations they should have and what they should be looking for and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, and it doesn't matter how you raise them, if you raise them in the church or however you do, whatever moral standpoint or influence you think you have, it doesn't take much for them to get online. Yeah. And curiosity, so dangerous. Yeah, curiosity or whatever, boom, boom, boom. Someone gives them attention. Maybe they're bullied at school. Maybe they know girls talk to them. We don't know, right? This is not far-fetched. No, to happen to anybody in any household. Right. You know. Yeah. For our age group, yeah, I think like really. But couldn't you see an older single man, like let's say your grandpa or something, or your dad doesn't have a wife anymore, and he wants to talk to somebody, he needs company, right? Online. And then this beautiful woman pops up, and she looks pretty real, and your vision's not that good. I mean, come on.
It's just so sick.
It is.
It's just so sick. To me, I don't know. It's just it's not going to end either. It's just going to get worse.
Yeah. And we knew this was coming. Yeah. Right. If you are into scripture, if you're into reading the Bible, there's a lot of things in the Bible that lean towards man and machine. Well, right.
Yeah, deceiving reality.
Oh, yeah, deception. All the sin that we're seeing take place at this level, at this rapid pace, at this blatant level, is all talked about. It already happened before the flood. It's happening again now. Mm-hmm. And then
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah. It's just on and on and on, right? Yeah. Okay. No sin now is any more bizarre than
what happened back then. Yeah.
What has happened. It does say what the end times will look like. Mm-hmm. And if you really, really read, it leads us very much towards the fact that soulless beings will be in our everyday lives, right? And I had a frightening thought, and forgive me out there if you haven't read the Bible, I definitely recommend it. When you read that in the end, people will want to die, but they won't be able to.
I was just thinking you're like where that was from.
But you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. Why would that happen? Think about it. Yeah. They want to implant people with these devices or give them this body that will never die, right? Yeah. Imagine your brain wanting to die, but it can't because you're living in this robotic, I don't know, and maybe for some people this might sound weird because they don't know that there's technology out there, yeah, right?
That can keep you. Well, just even modern medicine. Well, okay, so let me take a step back here for a minute, because I feel like as a society today, we are, and people in general, are terrified of death. Yeah. Whether it be because they don't know what happens after you die, or you don't believe in God, you don't believe that there's a heaven or a hell. There's always a certain bone in us that's terrified to death, right? And I feel like, we have all these medicines and these treatments to prolong our lives. And it's always we're always looking for that fountain of youth, right? And always looking for ways to keep ourselves alive. And it makes me feel like sometimes, are we not going along with God's will when we do stuff like that? Right. And medicine has come such a far way. Even, I look at somebody like my brother who had leukemia at a very young age. I was his blood marrow transplant donor, and it ultimately saved his life. But now his quality of life is poor. It's, he can't work. He's on disability. He's only 33, 34. He can't work. He's on disability. He has to go downtown to get a special treatment every single month.
Does he have that week. Graft versus host?
He's got the graft versus host disease, which is basically his body is still trying to fight off my blood because my blood is technically foreign to his body. Right. So his immune system is always weak. Right. So with that being said, he's always on some kind of antibiotic. He gets C. diff all the time. He gets thrush all the time. And it's just, like I said, the quality of life is poor. I'm not saying I want my brother to die.
No.
I'm not saying that we didn't do the right thing. I'm not saying that, he wanted to die. I'm just saying, like, there's
Like
so much stuff that we do
to not play God, but
yeah, but we all basically, like, doctors are kind of playing God.
That's a tough one because I feel like, thank God we have certain procedures to save lives. But then on the other hand, where I think it's like, in that circumstance, I feel like what a huge blessing that you were able to do that for him, and that, he helps you with your son. So he gets to have that relationship. Like, there's all these beautiful things that are probably happening in his life that are wonderful that, a lot of people don't get a chance to do. But on the other hand, I've personally witnessed so many people with like cancer who had such a terrible like end of life experience. That's when I think that it's taking advantage of people. Yeah. Like, that's when I'm like, was that really to prolong anything? Or you knew they were going to go anyways? You knew the repercussions of all these things, and the odds of them surviving were so low.
So to wrap up what I was trying to get to with that was, if we keep making it easier and easier to live as, just human beings, whether it be like, a microchip or an implant or something, like, it's like we're kind of crossing that line between, what are we willing to buy or what are we willing to do?
I just had a thought.
Okay.
A lot of this stuff isn't working, right? So with your brother, it worked. Like you said, it's not the best quality, but it worked, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of life-saving techniques out there. So this is by no means, thank God we have these things in place. But there are so many lifestyle-related illnesses that are literally killing people, okay? If it's not the lifestyle disease that ultimately kills them, it's whatever they're giving them to cure it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the perfect formula to somehow in the near future introduce this. You'll never have to worry about any of these things anymore.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We are going to give you this one quick and easy fix.
Yes. There's a pill.
And I don't know if it'll be a pill.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know. Whatever. But let's just say it's this pill. And most people, especially people in pain, especially people who don't want to die or somebody who doesn't want to lose somebody, sign me up, right?
Yeah.
And then that goes into the scripture where we know for a fact that God says these people, there is going to be people who want to die and they will not be able to. I cannot think of anything worse in this world than being trapped, everlasting trapped like that. Think about it.
Ew, you know what?
Isn't that
funny? I was just watching, and this video has our movie that I was watching last night with my husband. We were laying and I watched it. And it was something. I think it was called like The Wall. It was on Netflix, and it was
random find.
Yeah, my husband's always like into war movies, and it was like, I don't know, somewhere in the Middle East. Okay. And I walked out of my shower and I like walked in like halfway through, but I always get like so invested in these movies. And this guy, and he was on a mission, and it was a soldier, army, and everyone in his mission it looks like they all got shot by a sniper. And this guy is behind the wall, and his leg is broken. He can't stand up. He can't walk. He can't run. And he's literally like looking at all his other soldiers, and they're all dead. And there's a sniper that's like on the other side of the wall. And it's just like, he just wants to die. Like, it's just, I feel like we're always like, it's like that cat and mouse type thing. Like, you're just like, when is your time going to come, And it's just, I don't even know how the movie ended. We turned it off.
Now I'm going to have to look that one up. Have you ever seen Ready Player One?
No.
Oh my gosh. This movie came out, I don't know, 10, my son's 11, Maria's can be 13, maybe 8 years ago. I don't even know. All I know is they were not that young watching it, but Pete likes to watch movies. My husband likes to watch movies. Yeah. Kids, whatever. I'll do other things. Yeah. I'm not sitting down watching TV. So I'm listening to this movie in the background, like I do a lot. And I'm like, what the frick is going on? Right? So then it captures my attention. Mm-hmm. This is before the goggles and whatever these people wearing these.
Oh, like the what is that called?
Virtual reality.
Yeah, virtual reality.
Before virtual reality stuff started coming out, I'm sure it was in the talks before all that stuff. And I'm watching this movie. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's
where do you find it? Is it on
Netflix? Yeah, anyway.
Oh, okay. What's it called again?
Ready Player One. So my kids think it's the coolest thing when they're watching it years ago because they're like, oh, it'd be so awesome to live in this universe because it's basically, and this is me like, I'm watching this going, this can happen. And I'm like, to my husband, I'm like, this can happen. Like, we're like years away from this happening. He's like, oh, this is a movie, And he's
pretty awake.
He's pretty awake, but he was just like, whatever. So then what happens is it's like 2032, it's in the future. And the world is completely destroyed. It could be later than 2032. For some reason, that number came like great. It's just nasty. It's like apocalyptic, okay? But people are there living, and like they're living in the slums essentially, and then they go into their slum house and they throw on their goggles, and then they're a character, and then they basically live their life in this virtual reality.
Like, but their life their around players, or with their family, are all players.
You don't have to be around those people.
You can have a girlfriend.
He has a girlfriend. He needs a girl in there. They're competing for something. So it ends up they're competing for something in the guy, whatever. You have to watch it. But I'm like, this can happen. This is actually this is possible. And then, fast forward, then all of a sudden, then they come out with the virtual bullshit. Then, metaverse, when they did the metaverse, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I know. That was like a year ago.
Really? Whatever it was, I was like, well, this is that kind of.
Well, yeah, with the money trading.
Oh yeah, I guess everything really. It was all basically predictive programming. Mm-hmm. The scary part was what people were okay with. Like you could, and I tell my kid, and I told my kids this years ago. I go, you want to put on some goggles? You know what they're going to do to you? That's going to send a message to you that one day, if you want filet mignon, you can have it. You might be eating slop, but you'll be thinking you're eating. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll be able to. Whatever they put now, it's goggles. They could put something right into your, the technology's there. Anyone who would listen to us and think this is crazy talk, all they have to do is look it up.
But you know what? You don't belong here.
You don't belong here, but you can also look it up.
Here's the thing. Okay, I actually just made a reel about this yesterday, and I posted, all the things I don't want.
Right.
I don't.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You saw that one? I don't want to be censored. I don't want to drive an electric car. I don't want to have a social ID. I don't need a social credit score. I don't want to be forced to wear something on my face. I don't need to be forced to wear. I don't want to eat bugs. I don't want to do all the things that they're telling us, basically through predictive programming, that we are going to eventually be having to participate in.
Right.
And the amount of comments that come through that are saying, that I'm the crazy person, and I'm losing my mind, and I'm a ding dong, then lose your phone, you idiot.
Yeah,
as if me having a phone and posting my social media is an invitation for the government to be like, well, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's kind of like,
it's not.
On the same note, when people go off the deep end and like, they're tracking us, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're going to put a chip in our arm. I'm like, dude, they have a chip in your arm.
Yeah, it's your phone. Right.
They have a freaking chip in your arm. Okay, if you want privacy, get rid of your phone.
Yes.
Go live
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, don't depend on. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's these extremes. You're not saying you want to leave society.
No, I'm just saying I want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Stop telling me. Stop interfering. Because I've already been interfered with my job. Mm-hmm. I've already been told that I can't work because I didn't get a certain poke.
Right.
And I've already been told that, eventually we're going to have to go computer digitalized for all the paperwork and everything. And if there's going to be some kind of censorship down the road where I'm being tracked of what I'm saying, and this isn't just social media, you guys, this is through phones, your text messages, your personal information. which ultimately people online think that's an invitation for the government to just read on their own. Anyway, if you are potentially like not saying things that are quote unquote like right, that could possibly mean that you can't get online.
Oh, for sure.
To do your work, to do your livelihood, So it's like, this is a bad rabbit hole to go down to. And
you better be coming up with an alternative to your.
Yeah. And I put information out there. I put my opinions out there. I know that I'm going to get crucified.
Right.
But in the same time, like, you guys, we have to wake up. Like, people have to wake up and realize that, like, there is a bigger agenda that's behind all this stuff that they're pushing.
Ultimately, it's control, right?
It is control. Yeah,
because they've done so well in controlling every single aspect.
It's worked so far, but we're the pandemic.
Well, because the information age took off, they couldn't control everything anymore. As far as like it started with radio and TV generations prior, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many fake things that happened in the past that we believe. I know it's especially hard for like boomers, I think, who were
when they grew up with the height of, TV and radio and, things like,
that's another podcast. But with that control, losing that control, then this is the next way we can pretend like things are way worse in areas than they are. We can dangle emotions.
Well, and this is what makes me so mad about watching people driving around with masks on, because it just tells me that you're going to be compliant. Whatever they're going to throw at us next.
Well, let me tell you what's scary about that, too, is like, I'm going to use this example, and then don't let me forget to tell you about that. My dad, when all this stuff was going on, I think my parents are very cool. They're like healthy people who, like, they grew up in Italy, so like, they became American, but they're still strong in their roots. Like they take care of themselves well. They like to eat natural foods. They don't want anyone telling them what to do or, telling them to do that one thing that they're telling them to do. But the one thing that was eye-opening to me, and I probably told you this before, but my dad, who is a great human being, but he was one of those people during the time of the masks. Like, if somebody wants you to wear a mask, you just wear a mask. It doesn't bother me to put it on, so I'm just going to do it. I go, you know what? That's the problem.
Yeah.
I say, you're the problem. I said, because if you split it up in thirds and you say these people believe they should have it on at all times, these people do not think they should have to ever wear it. There's that third of people who are like, it doesn't matter. I'll do it if you need me to.
Yeah.
You're the fucking problem.
They are the problem.
Because you don't want to wear it, but you are. Mm-hmm. Because you're trying to please them.
Yes.
Right? But what about me?
Yeah.
Why aren't you trying to stand up for what the rest of us believe? Do you know what I'm saying?
Can I bring another word into this? Mm-hmm. Tolerance. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, maybe that's where I get it from.
Yeah.
So really quick on the electric cars, I know we don't have a lot of time, and then I want to end on a positive. Okay. Electric cars, we went, that my husband's car was stolen right from the fire station about a month ago. The Kia is very easy to steal.
Yeah. I think Hyundai's too.
Yeah. So we had to get a new car, and we went to Toyota, and they were trying to sell us on the electric car. Yeah. And Pete, God bless him, like if I don't want to test drive something, I don't. He'll I'll test drive.
Entertain it. Yeah.
And you can see he's irritated, but they're like, oh, the salespeople are like, best car I ever had, electric car, whatever. My father-in-law bought one. This is the best thing. And my husband's like, well, actually, they're really bad. Like, it's almost impossible to put them out in the fire. And they're like, oh, no, not the Toyota. He's like, no, bro. The way that the whatever catches on fire is like, you literally have to throw the car in like a lake. To put it out. And he's like, it's really dangerous. So he tells the guy this. He still takes it for a test drive. I'm like, why are you in this car? I just feel bad. I'm like, you feel bad? Like, I don't have a lot of time. Can we get this over with? But so these electric cars, like to hear that they do training on the fact that these cars, you can't even put them out when they catch on fire.
That's a little scary.
It's frightening.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I want to tell you. Now, maybe somebody listening would be like, actually, well, you know what? All I could tell you is when firefighters are doing training on it and they can't put the fire out, I think that's pretty legit.
I hope that those people that say actually have a electric car.
Yeah.
I hope it has a kill switch.
I mean that's scary. That would scare me,
Yeah,
like,
I know.
So
yeah.
But the positive with everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this. And I had to really absorb this one time, because in a relationship like I have in my house, especially during difficult times, inevitably one of you is like, you see a video or you read something and you're like, oh my God, we need to start saving water. Oh my gosh, we need to like build a bunker, you know, and like you'll start getting yourself worked up because of something you saw.
Ammo.
Yeah, so me and Pete will do that back and forth. We have not been that bad lately. Like one time he was like, dude, we need to start storing water. I'm like, oh, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm like, what's going on? So anyways, in the Bible, when it speaks of this horrific time that will happen, right? Whether you're here for it or not, we don't really know. I know that there's theories as to being, what's it called? Raptured up. If you have not passed by the time Jesus comes back, okay, that's a whole other podcast in itself. But the point is, if you are here and you have faith and you have a relationship with Jesus Christ and you know, and you read the Bible and you know what's happening, you will be supernaturally protected. That text is not for us.
No, it's not.
It is for the people who are blatantly disobeying and denying Jesus. Okay? And even if we are living in that situation, he just provides. He will protect, just like he did for the Israelites during their difficult times. Okay, so that to me is like something I always have to go back to.
It's so comforting.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, even if, you know, bombs were going off around us or disaster was just everywhere.
Well, and then also we can also as well too,
right?
You know,
yeah.
If it's my, I mean, like if whatever happens in the future, like that's just my timing. Right. My timing. I'm gonna do like go hide in my bunker.
Exactly. And you know what? I listened to a guy who was a prepper before he was a minister.
Yeah.
He has a YouTube channel. And he said and he's a very good prepper, don't get me wrong. And he still educates people a little bit on it, but he doesn't make it. It's not fear mongering.
Yeah.
He's like, he just kind of talked about everything he had saved and done. And something happened and everything spoiled. Like everything went. And I can't remember exactly what happened, but he lost everything. And it was at that moment that he was like, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you think that you could just somehow control it, and like
you don't. Yeah. You just can't.
I think it's good, like, to have like a couple jugs of water. But,
well,
like,
and it's good to but it's yeah.
I told people before I go, if it gets that bad, then take me.
Yeah. I know that's what I say.
I don't want to be here.
I was in both positions.
And they're cold and they're this and that. Like, take us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So ending on that.
Yeah.
Read.
Yeah. Read the book.
Read the good Bible. Book. Yeah. I mean, if you haven't read Revelation, it's scary. It's not scary. If you are a believing Christian, it is not a scary book. It is so comforting.
I know that when I first wanted to read Revelation, I always heard people say like, "Oh, it's deep. It's too much." You know what? You just pray and you ask God to give you the discernment and the wisdom you need to dissect these books, these chapters in this book, and He will give it.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree.
All right. So if you want to hear us talk about more crazy shit,
join us next time.
God bless.
Bye.